Good morning and welcome to this slightly different virtual induction event. In these trying times, things are going to have to be a little bit different, but we still wanted to ensure you had the opportunity to gain as much knowledge about life at Old Swinford Hospital Sixth Form before the summer period. We are delighted that you've chosen the time today to spend investing in your preparation for Sixth Form life, and we're confident that OSH will give you the opportunities, rigour and drive to succeed in whatever pathway you choose to follow. Induction events are usually held by schools for the purposes to introduce and to inform. The latter will be the primary focus for today's event, and it may be the case that you want to look back over some of the information presented. These YouTube videos that format today's induction talk will therefore be available throughout July and August for you to watch on demand. Unfortunately, that introduction component of the induction event is compromised by the lack of face-to-face meetings. Both myself and Miss Hunt are aiming to speak to you all over the phone if we haven't done so already, to allay any concerns and answer any questions that you may have. In the descriptions for each of the videos is a question link that you can submit any thoughts to, any questions, any queries. Likewise, our email addresses are available should you wish to get directly in touch. If you've got a question over the summer period, it's really important that you let us know so that we can allay those concerns and fears that you may have. Some of you will have friends who have also applied to OSH, and for others this may be a leap into a completely new educational setting with little ties to your previous establishment. That introduction to each other is the component which will be lacking in today's event, but I know through the advances of social media that you'll be far savvier than I am in connecting with each other and getting to know each other. Our plan for September induction to school will incorporate time for you to get to know one another, so please don't worry about that. But I'd like to start by introducing you to some key members of staff that will make a large part of your time at Old Swinford Hospital a success. So the Sixth Form team comprises of 4 members of staff, and it's important that you know our headmaster, Mr. Kilbride, as well. Mrs. Appley is the head of Year 13, and she may not be as visible to you at the start of Year 12 or throughout the Michaelmas or Lent terms, but she'll be incredibly important for you in that transition to Year 13 study. She'll be helping out with UCAS applications, making sure that you get to that destination that you wish to. She'll be there as somebody that you can speak to on a day-to-day basis, and she'll be in charge of all of the leavers arrangements to make sure that you've got those mementos in the form of the leavers book, the leavers hoodie, and also the leavers ball. Miss Hunt is going to do a talk at 9:30, and I won't spoil her introduction at this particular point. It's important to note that Miss Hunt is again available at any time in Year 12 and in Year 13. Our heads of year have specified roles for certain year groups, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to speak to people outside of their particular year group remit. Mr. Kilbride is our headmaster, and I would suggest that as part of this talk you ought also watch his Open Day induction talk, which is available on the school website. My name's Mr. Orr. I'm the head of Sixth Form, and I also teach history and have in the past taught classics and politics as well. I'm also the careers lead for the school, and I have a role within the EPQ. Lots of the co-curricular opportunities that you'll hear about today in the form of a number of videos, I will be able to deliver those particular pieces of content to you. And I'm available for Year 12 students, for Year 13 students, and I'll be able to contact throughout the summer break. The final person I'd like to introduce you to is the final person within our Sixth Form team is Miss Sparks. She is our Sixth Form supervisor, so she's the person that you'll see every single day. You'll see her more than perhaps your head of year, more than the head of Sixth Form. She's the person that without we wouldn't be able to run the Sixth Form. So all the day-to-day tasks, those conversations, those hellos, those moments where you're having a bit of a wobble, Miss Sparks will be the first person that you see in the morning and the last person that you'll see when you leave school. It's also right for me to address the dreaded words that have dominated the social landscape over the past few months. COVID-19, coronavirus, the global pandemic, whatever you wish to call it. This has been a challenge for all businesses and schools included. If I was in your shoes, I'd want to know how the school is prepared for a September start, what hygienic measures are in place, and what contingency plans are in place if there is a second lockdown. The senior leadership team are taking these next few weeks to ensure we have a clear plan for school return in September. We will be returning to school in September. That is the advice that has been given by the Department of Education. As new students or returning students to OSH, there will be a marked change from what you may have been currently used to when approaching an educational environment. So therefore, our recovery curriculum needs to focus on 3 things in September. Number 1, ensuring that you are academically prepared for the rigours of sixth form study. Having stopped your GCSEs in March, many of you may have been continuing with your subject studies, but I understand that many of you may have felt very demotivated over those particular months. So we need to ensure that you're preparing accordingly over the summer period and that you hit the ground running in September. That's why we've got these talks today. That's why there's all the subject talks and there's introductory videos about the bridging tasks that you can be working on. Secondly, we need to ensure that you're emotionally in the right place to prepare for the demands of sixth form study. Again, for many of you, it might have been the case that you've had almost 6 months out of an educational environment. Now we need to ensure that our induction program in September makes sure that you are well, that you are in the right frame of mind, and we need to ensure that our pastoral support system is fully embedded and is aware to you so that you can access that support if you need it. And thirdly and finally, we need to ensure that you have the right knowledge to become established to the new normal within the school. Our routines, our systems, and the ways in which we ensure we adhere to Public Health England guidelines, it is vital that you have that knowledge. So whether that's from hand sanitisation to year group bubbles or movement around the school campus, you need to ensure that you are fully aware and that you're fully supportive and that you are completely clear about how each particular group adheres to those particular rules. Now we'll be doing that over the July and August summer break. The reason why we need to spend time working on that is to ensure that we are meeting Public Health England guidelines and that we are meeting our risk assessments. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sending out information on enrolment that will give you information about our plan for September. The first 2 points that I've mentioned there, though, about academically being prepared and emotionally being in the right place, we have good systems for that already. So the academic preparedness you can see in the bridging task materials, staff are already preparing for their September curriculum, and the pastoral plan that's in place, well, if you watch Miss Hunt's talk at 9:30, you'll be able to see the rigorous programme that we have. So let's now move on to what you need to be doing after today's virtual induction event. So we'll start with GCSE Results Day. Now if you watch Miss Hunt's welcome address, you'll have a bit more information about the enrolment process and what happens on Results Day. And likewise, we'll be sending a lot of information to you in that week of the GCSE Results Day. We don't want to overload you at this particular point, and that will go through the process of how you can successfully enrol onto your specific courses. When you are enrolled at the sixth form, you'll be given joining instructions, and as part of that they will tell you specifically about clubs and any payments that need to be made for food, etc. But what you should be doing on the Thursday the 20th of August is first off hopefully celebrating. If you've made the grades for the sixth form, then you should be pleased. It might be the case that with the current calculated grades that have been set, you might have quite a lot of questions, so you might wish to contact your GCSE school. You might have further questions from that, and that might be the case for a lot of people in this particular GCSE Results Day. You should then spend the next 2 weeks completing any remaining bridging tasks that you have and preparing your sixth form attire and any equipment that you might need for your courses. Now, our first week of school begins on the 3rd of September, but the first 2 days, the Monday and the Tuesday, are teacher training days. So that's for staff to get accustomed to the protocols under the COVID-19 plan that we need to follow. Wednesday is an event just for full and weekly boarders. So if you plan on being a full or weekly boarder at OSH, then you will be invited in on the Wednesday. Now you'll have a 2-day program where you'll become accustomed to your boarding house and you'll become accustomed to the protocols that you'll need to follow. The Thursday will be an event for flexi boarders as well. So flexi boarders will join us on the Thursday, the 6th of September. Any student that is a day student will also receive virtual materials. Now that will give you some ideas about what it's going to be like when you get into school, how you navigate around the site, and they will be sent virtually to you. Friday the 7th of September is where all of the Year 12 community, yourselves, get to meet as a full year group for the first time. So full and weekly boarders will have been there for 2 days already, flexi boarders will have been there for a day, and on Friday day students will join as well. We'll have an assembly at 9 AM and we'll have 2 hours of induction materials that we feel as though are really important to pass on to you at that particular point, and then we'll try and get straight into our lessons late morning and afternoon to follow our timetables. Monday the 10th of September will be a normal school week. So you'll have a staggered induction program. That's partly because of the COVID-19 contingency plan that we have in place to ensure that we've got staggered groups coming in and making sure that everyone is fully understood about the protocols that need to be followed. So, between now and your GCSE results day, what do you need to do? Well, today's talks, which go through all of the different subjects that are on offer, there will be information at the end of each video to talk about the bridging tasks which you need to complete. Now you've got that material already, bridging tasks have been sent, and you can have a look at them in your own time. These are essential tasks for that first full week proper, which is the 10th of September. You need to ensure that you submit them to your teachers who will be expecting them. You should as well attempt some of the expected subject tasks. So those are the things that teachers are saying would be good if you're taking your A-levels and your BTECs really seriously. You should also, if you've got any questions, ask me. So my email address is robertor@oshsch.com. If you've got any queries or problems, you can contact me. I should be available on emails for the first 3 weeks. I'm due to go on paternity leave in the latter half of August, so if there is an automatic reply, please make sure that you follow the alternative emails that are provided there. And most importantly, recharge. It's been a really difficult few months for everyone, and I can't imagine the stress that many of you would have been under with your GCSEs almost being pulled out from in front of you. It's really important that you have a bit of time to recharge, prepare for September, because it will be difficult. There is no hiding behind the fact that sixth form study is a tough approach. It is an advanced educational environment, and as a consequence you need to make sure that you're mentally and physically prepared for the work that will be set. Now, as we are a sixth form, we are going to be a supportive environment. We are going to have those systems in place to make sure that that transition is as easy as possible for you. So yes, you should be doing the bridging tasks. Yes, you should be attempting some of the expected subject tasks. But spend time with your family, catch up with friends. As the restrictions to lockdown appear to be lifting, make sure that you are engaging with other people and that your mental well-being is at as high as it possibly can be. Now, one question that I thought would be worth addressing in my particular talk is about the school day, because so many people ask about it. They're interested in knowing when we start, when we finish, and about quirks to our particular school, because every single school and college will have a different sort of school day. So our starting time in the morning is 8:30 AM and our finishing time is 3:45 PM. But don't think at sixth form that it's going to be solid back-to-back lessons from 8:30 till 3:45. You'll receive a timetable when you join in September, and that will give you a list of all of the different subjects, all of the different PM games activities that you've got, and it will give you a list of your tutor as well. At OSH we have 5 lessons per subject per week, and we'll be following a 2-week timetable for the first time. Wednesday PM is reserved for games, so you won't have any subject lessons at that time, but you'll be expected to be in on a Wednesday afternoon. You'll have tutor time in the morning, and it may be the case that for some of you, as the year progresses and going into year 13, that tutor time is used for different seminars, and you might find out more about those seminars if you watch some of the co-curricular videos in today's talks. If you have a study period during the school day, and you'll have quite a few study periods, it will be a real shock to the system to see blank spaces on a timetable. If you have a study period during the school day, you are to stay in school, and at that time you are expected to work on your prep. Now, prep is the OSH word for homework, but also study work and revision work, because it's not enough at sixth form to just do your homework. If you have no afternoon lessons or have a study period in the final lesson of the day, then you may sign out and leave site. And at lunchtime you may leave the school site to collect lunch if you so choose. But there is a caveat to the school day for the 2020 to 2021 academic year. As we are spending time thinking about a COVID-19 contingency plan, this could change. We need to ensure that we're keeping you as safe as possible, so it may be the case that this changes by September when we issue timetables, or it may alter during the academic year. But this is the plan as things currently stand. So, thank you very much for watching this particular video. I just want to outline the plan for today and what you should be doing. So at 9:30, the video for Miss Hunt's talk, the head of Year 12, will go through a number of key messages that this particular video hasn't shared yet. At 10 AM, if you've chosen to study one of the Block A subjects, they will become live on YouTube and you can watch them. So if you click the relevant links in your document, you'll be able to access those particular videos. It may be the case that at 10 AM for the Block A subjects that you haven't selected to study one of the Block A subjects. So as a consequence, what you can do is you can watch one or more of the co-curricular options that are available. And there's a number of different videos that again are listed in your document that you may choose to have a bit of a watch and prepare for. At 10:30, the Block B subject talks will go live, and you may follow the same processes as 10 AM. At 11 AM, there's the same process again for the Block C subjects, and at 11:30, there are the Block D subjects, and we should be finished by 12 o'clock today. We don't want you to spend an entire day looking at a screen. You'll notice as well that lots of these talks are about 10 to 20 minutes in length, and there's a reason for this, even though we have half an hour spacings for the various different talks that are on offer. What we want you to do is we want you to watch the material, we want you to have a look at the bridging tasks that have been sent through and make sure that any information that's been provided in the subject talks about specifications that you've made a note of, and if there's any questions, you've written them down ready to address in an email. But if you're watching a number of videos throughout a day, you need to ensure that you've got breaks in between. So the reason why we've got 20-minute talks or less than 20-minute talks is so that you can stretch, walk around, discuss some of the topics with family members, grab a cup of tea, grab a snack. It should be a fairly relaxed environment. And if you want to come back to any of the videos, all of the videos will be on demand and you'll be able to watch them throughout July and August. Back in October, I spoke to many of you and your parents about the opportunity on offer to you at OSH, and I am delighted that you've embraced this opportunity and have made an application for the school. I really believe that OSH has a package that is completely unique compared to other sixth form providers. Not only are you taught by experienced members of staff who have unparalleled subject expertise, not only will you be supported in your specific applications to the destination of choice that you wish to go down, but you'll be part of a truly unique and historic community. And the opportunities that arise from being part of that community are unparalleled. So thank you very much for engaging with today's videos. I hope that you find them useful, and if you do have any questions or queries, please get in touch with me. Please send me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you very much, and hopefully you have a good morning.